The first thing we need to come to terms with, and we're going to be doing the next few clips using the letter C as the connection. And so there's 5 C's of coming together in exegesis. 5 C's. Some of these you've already dealt with, particularly if you've already done the course called PRE101. In PRE101 we've gone through the Tanakh and we've gone through the New Testament. And if you've done that, what you would have done is already done some of these particular things of exegesis, because they really are part of the concept of what we've been talking about in interpreting Scripture. And so the first C, the first of these 5 things, which I believe are part and parcel of the process of exegesis, the first C I call circumstance. Circumstance. Now, what does circumstance mean? He says circumstance is the external context of the passage. The external context. So what does that mean? Well, external concept would be things like the geography. Would be the social realities of the time. So the social realities of a wedding, or the social realities of desert, or those kinds of things which would be the social connections. The same way geography would be things like rivers and mountains and those kinds of things which we've dealt with already. So that's external. So where does the story happen? The other things would be things like culture. There's some cultural realities that are within this environment as well. So there's culture, there's things that happen in a Jewish way. Things like, for example, if you're looking at Tanakh, you're looking at things like sacrifice, the sacrificial system, the way in which the temple was laid out and was connected with. And so if you've got a story that you're looking at, or a passage of Scripture that you're looking at which involves the temple, then it's important for us to know the circumstance, the environment in which that is happening. So what was the layout of the temple? What was the way in which the culture was taking place in terms of when the lambs were killed, or any of those concepts? Those are external context. Things like geography, the social environment, the culture. The other one is history. History. So what is the historical context? Where are the people from? What was happening in that particular area? What was the background to it? We need to see that all of this, the concept of circumstance, is finding that background, the external context. So what was happening in the background of it? Who were the Pharisees? Who were the Sadducees? If you're dealing with, let's say, a controversy between Jesus and them. In the Tanakh, when you see talking about David and the Philistines, who were the Philistines? What had happened within that? What was the relationship between them? Each of these things are important, because what they do is they give us that external groundwork that we need to have in order to go to the next stage. So the circumstance, what was happening at the time of this. Plus, the other thing with external circumstance is looking at things like, for example, the audience. Who was this written for? What was the person or the writer wanting to achieve? What was his background? What was his connection with it? What can we identify of the background and of the person who wrote it, and therefore who he was or writing to and connecting it to? Those concepts of audience, history, culture, social, geography are all the things that give us the circumstance, kind of the place in which that particular story finds its location. We need to look carefully at those. They give us the raw materials to now begin to look more closely at what's inside that particular story and that particular text.